All right. So we are live now. I know when I do lives, I do have to go on my actual page to make sure this is being seen. So we can actually go from there. But we're live. This is kind of like an impromptu live. So I'm super excited to be live. I know normally I'm like always like, all right, this is what we're doing. I'm live. Normally we announce it. I didn't announce it, but I do think this is important to talk about. So I wanted to come live with Tier so that we can actually have this conversation because I think this is very important. And before we
Yes,
really
thank you.
dive in, I do want to take an opportunity to allow Tier to really just kind of say who she is. And then we're going to talk to you about why we're live and what we think you need and why it's important. So go ahead, Tier. I'm going to let you take over.
Hey, I am Tiara Kendrick. I have been a licensed independent counselor for almost 10 years now. I work a lot with clients who just need help, who need healing, who need some hope on their journey. Last year, I also took on the role of young adult pastor at my church that I've been attending for 23 years, International Christian Center. And that is a big part of my life. I am a mother of three and an aspiring author as well as an actress.
Listen, girl, we need to do a whole live. You heard artist stuff that she has going on. She says she is a lot of stuff. She's an author. She's inspiring author, which she's an author. We're gonna go ahead and put that out there.
Right.
She has a lot that she's doing. So I want you guys to stay connected with Tierra. But we're going to actually get into why she's here. Because I think this is going to be so important. So I am going to allow her to share with you an event that's happening this Friday, and then we're going to really ask or answer some questions and then go from there.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much, Dr. Janelle, for
welcome.
allowing me to be on your platform and allowing us to really promote this event that you and I both believe in. Thank you for
Hmm.
partnering with me and coming alongside with me. You guys, if you are local here in Columbus, Ohio, we have an event for you. No matter what stage and age you are on in your journey, come on out to Outcry Healing Hurts. This is an event sponsored by International Christian Center's Transform Plus Young Adult
Hmm.
Ministry, 18 and up ministry, but this event is for all ages. Healing hurts is something that is an important topic, not only to therapists and authors, TV hosts, everybody has known someone or have been through some things yourself, whether you are grieving, whether there was a miscarriage, whether that you have a breakup or heartbreak, whether your marriage is just going through some tough trials and valleys right now, whether you are healing from some disappointments and you just thought you would be somewhere
Hmm.
different in your life right now, whether you have had actual tragedies and traumas, different
Yes.
abuses or domestic violence or divorce. We want to just speak out loud on some of those things. We want to come to a community, to a safe space where we can heal, where we can grow, where we can validate each other's emotions, where we can say it's okay to not be okay, but where you also leave with some hope, some practical tools, and some strategies where you get to be uplifted with different talents and
Hmm.
artists that you may not know also are going to say, I have been through some hurts too. You may know some influencers or some people that you admire, and you're like, dang, they got it all together. But guess what?
Hmm.
Those lyrics, that poem, that dance, whatever it is, that came from somewhere, came from maybe a broken place within them. And we want to just provide a community where we say, you know what? It's normal to have these feelings. It is normal to go through these things. You are
Hmm.
still a Christian, and I provide faith based counseling as well as just traditional counseling for those who don't want any
Hmm.
kind of spirituality to their counseling. But there's so many people who come and they just feel bad that they have faith, they love God, and they still go through anxiety. They still go through stress. They still go
Hmm.
through depression. And we want to just be a place where you can come and say, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. We want to heal out loud and we want to heal together.
Yeah. And you kind of answer one of the questions that we have for you, which is like, what inspired the vision? And I want you to kind of
Yeah.
deep, what inspired the vision for Outcry
Well, let me
Healing
tell you.
Hurts? Mm-hmm.
So I thought of this around the end of January, and you guys know a lot of things came out of the Department of Justice with the Epstein files and everything. And the thing I kept hearing people say is nothing being done, nothing's being done. And the event originally started because I wanted to do a benefit concert. I wanted to do
Mm,
some donations, whether we donate clothing or something like that, to a community agency that works with people who
mhm,
have been abused or trafficked or anything like that. And it
mhm,
got really, really a lot. It got big. And so
mm,
I was like, man, I can't really do this event. I don't have enough people
mhm,
maybe to help me with this event. But I really still wanted something where people can know they can do something. And so now this
mhm,
is just a conversation. It's more than a concert. It is about sharing your story. It is about us asking questions of one another. So it's not just a lecture where I'm the expert up there telling you some things. You, as the audience, whether you are hurting right now or whether you just overcame something. So even if you are not in a moment where you are just hurting, come be there for someone else because you have a story, you have experience, you have some
mhm,
coping skills that you've learned along your journey. But that's where it started from, just wanting to bring awareness to different traumas. And what I've realized once God told me to do this event, I realized, man, people are hurting for so many things. It could be even daily stuff. It may not be that
mhm,
big trauma. And sometimes people are like, dang, I shouldn't even feel like this. I really need to be
mhm.
grateful. I got a lot going for me. I've never been through this, or that. But guess what? Your hurt is still valid. Your hurt is still
Yes.
real. Your trauma and your tragedy and your tears are just as important as somebody who's been through something maybe
Yeah.
bigger.
And I think that's like this is why this is event is so important because listen, the way we have it, and she's going to share so much, but the way it is it's like for anyone to come in, and if you like if you are in a space where you want to share your story, she has really provided an opportunity, and we'll give you that information soon on how you're able to actually get to a space where you can share in any form. Here's her flyer. We're going to give you the QR code, and we're going to give you everything you need to really get to the space where we're talking about outcry. I know as therapists, so she and I are therapists, we go way back. One of the things
Mhm.
that we both notice and contest to, and we really get into trauma, is that we have a lot of people I know, as therapists who come to therapy and they have all these symptoms. They're having all these things that happen. And what's happening is they're masked as other things,
Yes,
bipolar, anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. Or we're not realizing the depths of traumatic grief or, whatever. And we listen, y'all, we can't give y'all everything. Y'all need to show up. Let's be honest.
exactly.
If you want everything and you really want healing, then you need to show up to this event. We don't want to give you all the tea on this live, or the live is really to invite you out and to come out. But we want to
Yes,
tell you like what this is about. And we want, if you're here in your Facebook, I know it's Juneteenth. You're probably out there, celebrating and stuff like that. But listen, even with Juneteenth, there's a generational healing that needs to take place. So
yes,
listen, we are
yes.
here to invite you. That's why we're showing up live because we want to personally invite you to this event. We know as therapists, both of us see people that are so broken and they're showing up in spaces that they can't even
Mhm.
operate in their full self. And the beauty
Yes,
of us as being therapists was we are Jesus lovers, right? So we believe in the spirituality side. We're connected with God. We believe in that. But we also believe in the healing power, the practical work, and we believe we both enter into this field because God gave us the purpose to do that. I always tell clients, and Tier, I know you can contest. I always tell clients, listen, we're not healers, right? I don't have that power to heal you, but it's
I
almost
wish.
like
I
you.
wish there was a magic wand.
Right. We can be like Men in Black. We can wave the wands, right? But
Yes,
what we do is if visualize it this way, you are a patient in a hospital and God is a doctor. He's a physician. He's an attending doctor. We're the nurses. Does it make
yes.
sense? That is how we work with people. We don't call the shots. We don't do the things, but we help to administer the medicine. We help to do all the other things
As
because
a
God has
straighten out.
you absolutely put it as the field. So this event is really going to propel you, especially if you guys are in a space where you need healing. And if you don't need healing and you question if you do, then you need to come because you need healing. I do want to ask the next question. Many people are carrying pain in silence. What would you say to someone who's wondering if this event is really for them?
If you have any pain, if you have questions, if you have things from your past and even present, yesterday is still like the past, but if you have some things that are still affecting you, you need to be there. You need to be there, even if all you do is you come to get encouraged. Maybe you come to listen to somebody else's story. Maybe you come just to know that it's possible, just to know that you can outgrow this thing, just to know that it is temporary, as well as I believe in behavioral activation is something I do with a lot of my clients where basically the activities you do can activate certain moods. So if you've been stuck on down and depressed and lack of confidence, and you've been stuck on stress, and you've been stuck on worry, and you've been stuck on sadness, then this is just a little bit of a change up. Maybe getting out, maybe meeting new people, maybe coming out just to hear some positive music and some poetry and some dance, to hear some monologues from people that may relate exactly to what you've been going through. Maybe that will just bring your spirit up a little bit. Sometimes we have to nurture our soul, really. We have to really feed our soul those things we want to feel. And if they're not, those feelings aren't coming to you naturally, you have to do something about it. You have to be intentional, make those plans, and plan to do the
Hmm.
things that'll get you out of that mood. Because you do not
Yeah.
have to keep the mood that you're in. You can make some changes. Those feelings don't have to control you. Sometimes you create that
Mm.
space to be joyful. You create that space to be welcomed. Create that space to be loved and included. And this is our invitation to you to come out and not only get healing, but to get help and to get hope. Sometimes you just got to build that hope again.
Yeah.
If you have hoped in a while, you've been too disappointed, you don't want to get your hopes up, or you haven't been praying for stuff. Some of that is because you don't believe anymore. And sometimes hearing from somebody else and knowing their story can help you believe again. It can help you know
Yeah.
that these things are possible and that God is moving mountains for other people. He could do the same for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a post up real quick. So we want you to understand. So this event is happening this Friday at
Yes,
7 p.m. We want you to understand that, a lot of people are in this space where they're just heartbroken and they need healing and they're not showing up. They're wondering, they're questioning. I don't know about y'all. I see people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s who are still struggling with trauma and hurt
yes,
and pain, and it was never healed and resolved, and they don't know why. And let's be honest, that stuff is
exactly.
impacting your physical, as well as your mental. So we need you to
And let me
understand the
tell you,
importance of healing.
sometimes we think we've healed through some things. Me and
Yeah.
Janelle was talking about some things even in my personal life. We think we healed through some things until you get a trigger or until you get a reminder or until you realize, wait, I'm in a similar situation, and that same emotions that you felt before come right back up. That same fear,
Yeah.
that same worry, those same insecurities, they come right back up, those doubts and things like that. So I would definitely just say, if you have anything that you can relate to where you have been hurt, even if it was in the past, come on out. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And then we also want to invite you. I'm going to try to do this QR code. The QR code is right there, on the left. Like, if you have, when you know that you are in a space where you have something to give artistry rise, or you want to come out
Yeah,
and you want to share your story, you want to talk about anything, like, this is your opportunity to come out and share that. This is your
yeah,
opportunity to really, in any type of form, if you're a poet, if you're an artist, if you're a singer, if you're a writer, whatever you
actress,
do and you want to
anything. Yes,
share anything, we want to invite you to come out and share your story. Again, I'm gonna share the flyer with you again. We are here, and I'm gonna keep the QR code up. But we want you to understand, and this is the Outcry Healing. We want to benefit from you. It's open mic. You can come out if you have a testimony. Come out and share with us and other people because they need to hear it. Now, I want
exactly.
to
And I
ask
want to
you, yeah,
specifically just give an invitation, a personal invitation to any males out here.
yeah,
When God wanted me to do this event, there was a time where I didn't know if I would continue the event. I didn't know if I had the help. I didn't know what I needed. I just knew God gave me this idea, and it was originally so big. And so God said, you know what, Tia, use your strength. You're a therapist. Do what you would do, have a conversation with people. And so I started having conversations since I've been promoting this event, like, hey, what has hurt you? What's the biggest hurt of your life? How did you heal from different things? And I've heard from a lot of males who have
mm,
been through some traumas and either don't want to say anything or don't feel like they're valid or feel like they got a handle on their own. And I want to specifically speak to fathers, especially Father's Day coming up. There are so many men out there that I've had these conversations, not being around your kids every day, going through a divorce, or the mother has maybe withheld children from you for whatever reasons. And men are hurting. And I want you to know this event
mm,
is for you too. This event is for you. If you are just crying out, you are low, you are broken because you can't fulfill certain roles that you know you were meant to be a father or a husband, you are not a failure. You are not alone. It is
Mm,
not over for you. There is still time
mhm.
to make a difference. There's still time to have a different future than what you have had in your past. So I just wanted to put that out there for men. Please come on out, share your story, or just be washed over by the watering of those of us who are going to share our story. Not only that, side note, one of the reasons I'm really excited for this event, we have the event where we are going to gather together next Friday. We're going to cry out together with different talents and just questions and consultation and conversation with one another. But after Friday, have you ever been to an event and a concert and you just felt so good and it was so positive and you were uplifted? But then what after that? You may have even got saved. You might have given your life to God. You might have rededicated. You might have felt really good. But then life happens the next day. You feel lonely afterwards or something like that. Guess what? Every Tuesday after this event, we are going to be live doing a Google Meets or some kind of link, a virtual
That's
link where you
good.
will have a community of people where you can talk, you can study together, you can share together. We do life together. So that is another thing I'm really, really excited about after this. We're going to create a community. We're going to create a space, no judgment, all Jesus, where we can just come and be real with each other and sit with each other and have an hour or so where you can share and you can get to know new people and you can get some answers. So this is not a one-time thing. This is creating a community. It's a catalyst
Yes.
for what you may need in your life. Maybe you're saying that I don't have very close friendships. Maybe you are saying, man, I don't have the answers, but somebody else, as we grow together, might have those answers you need.
Yeah, I love that. So we're gonna again, here is the event, here's the information. This is so powerful. Like when you mention the man, I just want to say when we're mentioning the man, we know for a fact that a lot of times with men, unfortunately, with society, the struggle of emotions comes
Yeah,
because they're taught not to really cry. And I know that the event is outcry, but then if you're here, I want you to understand it's about transformation. We get that you're
absolutely.
in a space where you may not have freedom to share, and we want to create that space for you. And listen, Tierra is doing a great job. So listen, if you're just joining, take a picture of this flyer, take a picture of this, and if you want to come out and you want to share it in any type of form, fashion, or way, go ahead and scan that QR code up in the left corner, the left hand corner, well, my left hand corner, so that you're able to like really come out and hear it. Because this is not just about, crying and being in a space where you're like, we're talking about pouring out your hearts and your soul
Yes,
in the event that we know that you've been through something. It's for transformation. It's not for you to get to a
absolutely.
space where you're just haphazardly doing this. So this is a great call for men. Father's Day is tomorrow, or I'm sorry, it's Sunday. I don't know what today is. So we want you to share it with someone. If you're joining, go ahead and click that share
Yes,
button, share to your page, share the link to your
yes,
page, share everything to the page, text someone, screenshot the actual event, and send it to someone. Don't let anyone else that you know who is in need of healing suffer. Allow them to get free.
yes,
Now, my next
yes.
question
And
is
that's a good
how.
point, Dr. Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for mentioning that because you may just know somebody. Maybe you are seeing this because there's somebody else who is your neighbor and your cousin and your
Mm-hmm.
coworker and your colleague. You wonder why people do what they do. It's because of what they've been through, because they haven't been healed. Hurting people hurt
Yes.
people, you know?
Yes.
So I want you to just please feel free to share this event. Bring somebody. You don't even know what they're going through, but maybe God laid them on your heart. Maybe there's a name that keeps coming to mind while you're watching this. Share
Yeah.
this with, we don't want somebody else to go through the same things that we've been through alone. Even
Yeah.
scrolling your timeline on Facebook,
Mm.
I just see so many posts every single day. I'm hurting. I'm lost. I'm in a dark place. Nobody cares about me. Share this event. Tell somebody this is time. This is your answer right here. You've been crying out to God. Even those of you who don't even know where you're at in your belief, guess what? God hears your tears anyway. He sees you in the midnight hour. He sees you in your dark place, and this is your answer. This is the prayer
Yes.
request to say, hey, I'm here. Come and let me wrap my arms around you because we are expecting an experience with God, not just an event, not just a concert. God Himself is going to wrap His arms around you and comfort you.
Yeah, that's good. So then we're going to ask the next question. How can sharing a story become a pathway to healing, not only for ourselves, but for others?
You know what sharing does? Sharing our story and our testimony mobilizes somebody else.
Mm, yeah.
It helps somebody else have that action to their faith. You know,
Hmm.
I shared my story about the home that I built, and I got no's, 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 no's. I put $18,000 earnest money down in May, and they were like, "Hey, if you don't get financing in 2 weeks, you're gonna lose the money." But I didn't have financing at the time, but I decided to go ahead and do it anyway. I decided to put my faith to work. And now I have this home that a lot of people see it and they are so blessed themselves by knowing they can possibly do that same thing. I got no after no after no. I did this Mother's Day of May of 2023. I did not get
Mm,
financing to the end of July. I definitely could have lost my money, but God came through for me. And even
mm,
something as small as that, like Storie, that helps people know, wait, okay, I could do that too. Or being able to say my first home, I put like $500 down. It doesn't take a whole lot. Sometimes sharing your story let somebody else know what is possible. And for those of you guys who have been through trauma, for those of you guys who have written a book, for those of you guys who have been casted in a movie, there was a journey to get to that place. For people who are artists, who hopefully you guys will sign up if you are a worshiper, if you are an actress or a singer, if you paint, if you do poetry, those things, those talents, those lines, they come from somewhere. They come from somewhere. And we want you to know that this is the perfect place to share. Where did that line, where did that lyric, where did that come from? What have you been through that you
mm,
had to get yourself out of and had to allow God to have control? The Bible tells us we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. Yes, everything Christ did on the cross, it is finished. He has already reconciled us to himself according to Colossians 1. But guess what? It also says we overcome by the word of our testimony. Do you feel drained?
mm.
Do you feel broken? Do you feel low today? But guess what? When you hear somebody's testimony or when you give your own, when you say, but God is good, even still, that is where overcoming happens. When I'm talking to someone about this event, she said, you know what? No soldier fights alone. We don't go on a war alone. There is not one person who goes to war. No, it's a whole line of people. You have several lines behind you, and y'all all are going to war together. That's what this outcry is. We are crying out to God for you,
Mm.
for me, for whoever you're standing in the gap for, that sister or that cousin or that brother who didn't show up, but you're standing in the gap for them. We're doing it together. That is why sharing our story is so powerful. How many people, Dr. Janelle, would be blessed by you saying, hey, I've been through this grief, and I came through. I've been through this relationship trauma, and I came through. Because somebody else needs to know, wait, I can get beyond this. Wait, they hurt too.
Mm.
They was just crying yesterday. They cried themselves to sleep. They felt judged. They felt alone. They felt they weren't good enough. People need other people to say, me too.
Yeah, I love that. And in the words, it's just the relatability, like to understand that you're not the only person that's going through something. Whenever I talk about healing, because I know like healing is just a big thing in our field and in our purpose, both of us. And when I talk about healing, I do feel people kind of want to resist it. Because it's hard. Like healing is a
Yeah,
thing that you have to face something. Like we just want to get through it. We don't want to go through stuff. Like unfortunately, such is life. Like we would rather be on the other side of healing without going through it. But the reality of it is when we go through it, it builds our character. So there's a lot of things I can tell
yeah,
you every single thing that I've been through, I have made some type of monetization off of it, whether it's a book,
yeah.
whether it's a program, whether it's something, every single thing, because at the end of the day, this is the relatability. At the end of the day, I know that what I went through, I know that now when I was going through it, I was like, Jesus, like if this cup could pass, right? But when you go through it, once you're through it and you're building the character, you realize that it was never about you.
Nope. Absolutely. It was never
Never.
ever about us. And First Corinthians or Second Corinthians 1 tells us we comfort others with the comfort God has given us.
Mm,
Some situations you go through
mm-hmm,
so that you know what somebody else might need. When I first had the idea for this event, and God told me about this in January, just looking at all the posts about what can be done and nothing's being done. And I'm like, well, we can do something. We can stand, we can unite, we can pray, we can worship. But after that, in May, I went through a huge huge hurt that I didn't expect and I didn't know. And I'm usually Pastor Patty for my clients, my family. I'm the one pouring into everybody else. But I went through a moment where somebody passed away. I went through another loss of, a relationship that I was building. I went through the anniversary of my dog dying, and that was my king. That was my son, my first baby boy, had him for almost 10 years. That was major. But guess what? All of those things help me now relate to people who are in those same situations. And guess what? Maybe you've never been through those
Mm,
situations, but you experienced the same feeling. You also have been sad. You also have been confused. You also have been saying, why me? You also have been saying, when? When is my turn, right? When is that hope that I had going to come through? Because Proverbs 13 tells us hope deferred makes the heart sick. And honestly, that is what's happening with a lot of our hurts right now. We are sick because our expectation was not fulfilled. We are
mm.
sick and frustrated. We are hurting because of some things we didn't think we would be going through right now. But when you go through this, somebody is going to come along in your journey that also needs to hear they can make it through because you made it through.
Yeah. And I love that. Even if you, especially if you have kids. So like Tia talked about our fathers and stuff like that, especially if you have kids, you have to think about how much generational hurt that we've
Yes.
been through. And that it stops with you. It ends with you if you're showing up to
Hmm.
this event
Hmm.
and letting it go. It's I know sometimes that not letting go, not wanting to heal and all that stuff can be a prideful thing. And we're asking you to put away for your pride because you're in the
Absolutely.
space where it has to happen so that you can actually show up with who God created you to be. So,
And
last
these are the
question.
things that make you become, right?
Yeah,
We are becoming who God
yeah.
already sees and God already meant. We have so much potential. When God looks at us, He looks at us in our perfected state. That's why the Bible says He calls us the bride of Christ. On her wedding day, the bride is at her best. She is at her most perfected. And that is what He sees when He sees us in our perfected state. But guess what? All of those things are getting us to what God sees, right? It to For you to become a counselor, maybe you had to go through different things
Mm,
that
mm-hmm.
created that desire in you to help somebody else go through, or for me as a single mother, a divorced mother, maybe I had to go through certain things so I could help other people who are mothers, or maybe those situations create in you patience, perseverance, maybe it creates in you dedication or consistency, maybe it creates in you. I know this recent situation, Janelle, I've been telling you forever, I'm gonna write a book. I've had a series of 10 book ideas since I was in my 20s and I'm now 44. And so I pull that thing off the shelf, like, okay, now I can write these stories. And now is the time. Now I'm motivated for this thing or whatever it is. Those hurts that you heal from, it does create something in you. It builds something, like James 1 tells us. Like, we need to be thankful for our trials because they're creating
Yes.
that character that we need to fully be who we were always meant to be.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you mentioned that scripture. I was just saying that to Destiny, my daughter. I was like, it reminds me of that count of all joy when you are tried and
Yes,
tempted for various aspects. In that, don't try to get out of anything prematurely. And I think that
exactly.
this is the Message Bible, by the way. I think that we try to get out of stuff so quickly. I'm telling you, a lot of clients I deal with, we don't want to go through that pain. We're ready to get
Mhm.
out of it. We don't want to feel that. We don't want to feel that. It's uncomfortable, and
It's
this is where a lot of
uncomfortable. We
people.
avoid it.
Absolutely. And people, unfortunately, it's like the devil we know. Like people would stay with the devil they know, even if it's toxic, unhealthy, any of that, because it's familiar. And going through this whole aspect of like trusting God and or allowing Him to heal you isn't. I'm challenging my clients now, especially my clients. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share with this more. And this is for me too. I'm challenging my
Mhm.
clients who have a relationship with God and have been through trauma a lot, because what happens is trauma. I'm not listen, y'all need to come out. So I'm not gonna tell y'all too much, but what trauma does, I know a lot of us hear about the independent woman or the hyper independent woman, and I just really believe with all my heart that trauma creates that. Now, and what happens is we lose trust,
Yes,
right? We lose trust, and so then we begin to depend on ourselves. And there's no way nobody on this earth can tell me, unless you went through a drastic healing process, that you're saying I am able to trust God going through all this trauma when the people who love me hurt me.
Yes,
How do you trust God who you
that's
can't
so
see when the
valid.
people who love you and we don't fully trust God. So now we're trying to do everything in our own strength. And I want to really dive into that when we come
Yes,
together this
yes,
Friday, because I need you to understand the importance of that. Like you're not you think you trusted God, but you're really not. You trust in yourself because you have learned
absolutely.
to do that. So I
And
we just want to
sometimes
challenge you.
God allows certain things so that we recognize what was your trust really in?
Mm-hmm.
What was your trust actually in the first
Mm-hmm.
place? You know,
Mm-hmm.
did you fully trust me? Probably not. And sometimes these situations show us that. So even if we are loving God and trying to live for God, there's always room for us to grow. And there's always room for Him to show more of Himself, show Himself in a new way and to do a new thing. He even told Abraham to leave his place, to leave his home. He told Noah to do something that never been done. They had never had a flood. They had never had, that kind of rain. So He always has a step outside of what we know so that we can trust him. Nobody really uses GPS if you know where you're going, unless you want like an idea of how long you're going to get there or whatever. But a lot of times when you're familiar with somewhere, you don't use GPS. And that's how it is
Mm-mm.
with God sometimes. We need to use God's planning and protection system, his GPS, and that means we need to use it no matter what we are going through. But a lot of times we feel like it's familiar or, we already know what we're doing, so we don't need God's direction. We don't need his
Yes.
plan. And so sometimes these things kind of catch us off guard a little bit so that we realize, wait, we need God's GPS. What are we doing, God? Where are we going? I feel like I'm in a detour. It's a wrong way. What am I doing? And so look at that situation, look at that hurt, look at that stress right now as just directing you back to God. He's going to recalculate.
Absolutely. Danielle D. Smith is in the building. Listen, I know
Yay!
we're live. She said, "Y'all talking real good, ladies." Thank you, Danielle. But listen, it's really true. Like we need to really get to a space where, like, even with the GPS scenario, even like I put on the GPS every morning, even though I know how to get to work. Why? Because I don't feel like dealing with traffic. And
Yeah.
so like I'm like, let me see what's happening. I'm gonna put my GPS on, even because we don't know. And sometimes I'm like, where is this girl taking me? Like
Mhm.
I be wanting to take the wheel, like, girl, what is you doing? Like, where are you taking me? And that's how we are with God, even if it's familiar.
Absolutely.
And why we had that little hiccup, we still trying to control the
And
whole
listen,
vehicle.
sometimes I'm gonna be real, y'all. I be like, nope, I bet I can get there faster than what she say. Like I be trying to outdo the GPS, and that's what we do with God sometimes. Like He told you to go that way for a reason, and okay, now you wonder why you stuck right there because you thought you knew where you was going, but there's some way that God knows that maybe you don't know.
Yes. And this is why we get to the space where healing is important, because when we do that, we often get into more pain, more trouble, some delays, and then we asking
Listen,
God to help us out. Lord, help us, right? He like, I
absolutely,
told you not to do that. Right?
absolutely.
So,
Obedience cures so many hurts. Like that's when I'm
yes.
realizing. If I would have
Yes.
just obeyed in the first place, I probably wouldn't be crying right now because of that decision. Because he told
Yes.
me what he told me. But thank God we have a loving father, just like a parent. He knows his kids. He knows what we're gonna do already. He know when we stubborn. He know when we're hard headed. He know when we're impatient. He already knows and he cushions us for that. He creates events just like this. He creates opportunities. Or you come across
Yes.
a live stream where somebody's talking about exactly what you need to hear because he already knew you would be in this position in the first place.
Yeah. The thing is not to stay in this position. And this is why this
Exactly.
event is actually being offered, so that you're able to have some freedom into the safe space. Again, if you're here, you're just joining us, we're inviting you to the Outcry Healing Hopes is Benefits of Open Mic Night. If you're a open mic night, and if you're a person who you got gifts you want to share, you got a
Yes.
story you want to be able to pour into us, go ahead
It's
and
your
click that
time.
QR code and go ahead and submit your information so you have that. It's a night of worship. And if you know someone, share this with them. I'm gonna say it again. If you know someone, share this with them. This is gonna be very important because it's going to be a space where you are free. So here's the last question. What can attendees expect on June 26th? So this is June 26th, guys. And what makes Outcry different from a typical open mic night?
So, what makes it different is you. What makes it different
Hmm.
is vulnerability and transparency. where we are coming together, and we are not saying we got it all together. We are not saying, hey, I'm the pastor, I'm the preacher, I know it all, I'm the therapist. We are saying, hey, what information do you have to share? What do
Mm,
you have to give? What have you learned in your life that can help your neighbor? What makes this event different, again, is that we're creating a community. It is not just a concert. We are having a conversation. We are tapping into your knowledge and your strength. It's not just us, it's not even just the people who sign up. It is about everybody who attends, right? And we are creating a space where you can say, I'm not okay. We're creating a space where you can say, you know what? I want to get back to who I used to be. I just had an intake with a client this morning. She's like, I want to get back to who I used to be. We're creating a space where you know that you
mm,
can get back there. And guess what? You're going to be even better, right? Because what God does, if y'all watch HGTV, I know I'm getting older because that's all I watch now. My parents used to watch that. But I love watching the renovation shows, and they have the worst looking houses sometimes. But guess what? They have to knock a lot of stuff out to really build it back up to be amazing. Or the designer shows. My show's Project Runway. Don't judge me. I love it. I love my fashion stuff. And sometimes they'll create something and it just looks a hideous hot mess at first. It's like, what are you doing? Why did you pick that? But it ends up becoming something. But they gotta tear some stuff. They gotta cut some stuff, you know? And that is how God is doing with you. He had to tear something. He had to cut something. He
mm,
had to break something. He had to bust some things out of you because he's expanding you, because he is creating a beautiful mosaic from your broken pieces. He is going to make a mansion out of that roach motel. Like he is going to do something in you. So if you feel like there's a lot of dirt on you, there's a lot of stains right now, you are tainted, you've been broken. Guess what? God is going to create something
mm,
beautiful. And you just have to
mhm,
step back and allow him to do it. But when we come to this event, Outcry, we are crying out together. We are healing together. And we are hoping out loud. We're going to do some vision casting by the end of this. You came in with this, but how are you leaving? Who are you now? We're going to do some affirmations. Listen, I want to give all of the stuff, but you are going to have some valid practical tools. We got counselors and therapists in the house who are going to teach you some deep breathing tools and some mindfulness. They're going to teach you how to refocus and shift off of all of that stuff that keeps you in the emotions you're in. And we're going to teach you how to truly stay
mm,
healed. Because like Dr. Janelle said, it's a transformation. That caterpillar don't go into the cocoon and come back out a caterpillar ever again. That caterpillar is forever a butterfly. Their
mm,
title, how they look is changed. How they move and how they walk is changed. They ain't on the ground no more. They are flying. They are soaring, but they had to press through. They had to get in that
mm,
cocoon and be isolated for a moment. It was cold and dry and dark. They had to feel the hurt and the pressure before they could get their wings.
mm. Amen. And we almost passed collecting plate. So for anyone who is watching this, and you know that you need to come and get healing, this is not the time to play cute or be prideful
No,
or even shrink and think that you're not worthy or not. You don't want people to see. This is not the time for that. We're really going into some uncertain times right now, right?
absolutely.
I don't know about y'all. I'm like, what is happening? So there's a lot of things that's happening. And with that, we want you to understand who you are. I know a lot of times pain and brokenness really has you questioning that. So we want to invite you, if you're here and you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, if you come across the flyer, whatever it is, if you see Outcry, I need you to make sure you're coming out. Again, if you want to share your story, please be sure to scan the QR code. I'm going to put the flyer back up. The event is going to be on June 26th, which is this
Next
Friday,
Friday,
upcoming
guys,
Friday.
7
Yes,
p.m. Mark
7
your
p.m.
calendar, set your alarm, start inviting
Yes,
people now because you will be changed. You will
yes,
grow. You may cry, but just like a wound, right? Sometimes we got to get in there to make sure it's not infected before we could just slap a band aid on it, right? So it
absolutely.
may be some hurts that come up, but you are going to be better after this.
Yes. Now, can you tell them the exact address where it is now?
Yes,
I put up a different flyer if you want to take a picture of it.
yes.
And if you need to scan the QR code, you can, but we're going to give you the exact address of where you need to go.
Yes, we are going to be at 6600 Bush Boulevard, in Columbus, 43229, the north side of the Columbus, back behind the continent, all the way down close to Schrock and Bush Boulevard. 6600 Bush Boulevard, right on the corner of Bush Boulevard and Kings Mill Parkway. This is at the Dream Factory, guys. Come on out next Friday. Come on out to share. Come on out to cry. Come on out to worship. Come on out to be made whole.
Amen. Any last words for the audience? Like, what is like you need? Like, I need you here. What would you say?
I would just tell you that God is in front of you. He's
Mm,
going to meet you where you are at. You have a need. I want to tell you that your hurts are real, your hurts are
mm,
valid. Your hurts are important to God because God tells us that He cares for the things that we care about in James, to cast your care onto Him, for He cares for you. You have to recognize that He is like a dad, He is your father. Right? He is a nurturer, but he's also a protector. He gets upset at the things that make you upset. He wants to heal you. And the other thing I want to let you know, Transform Plus, one of the things about Transform Plus is that we believe in Luke 12:32 that tells you that God the Father, the shepherd,
mm.
he is pleased to give you the entire kingdom, is what it says. We've been asking for little scraps, right? That's why we ain't fully healed. We've been asking for the little stuff, and He want to give you the whole kingdom. Study Luke 12:32 and then start expecting. Like me and Danielle talk about, put your expectations out there. What are you expecting today? Speak them, say them. And then James 5, Psalms 5 tells us to present your expectations to God early in the morning. Have an expectation coming to this event and watch God move. Watch Him work because
Yes.
you are bringing God with you when you come.
Yes. So listen, there you have it. We want to see you there. We want you to come out. If you feeling anything like I need this, come out, come out, come out. We want you to come out for healing. The address again, if you take a picture, is on this actual flyer. Do not, do not go another year knowing you need healing. And listen, if you're questioning, oh, because I have a lot of people like, oh no, my dad wasn't there for me. I wasn't traumatized. Oh, this happened, but that ain't trauma.
They
Oh,
don't even
if you
realize how to
question
say, yep,
anything, listen, then you need to be out there. One of
absolutely.
the most important definitions that I heard of trauma is anything that changes the way you view yourself, the world, and others. And I guarantee you, everybody that is watching this or passing it along has been through something. So we want to make sure that you're going through really having a healed heart so that you are not bleeding on people and that you're able to serve your purpose in full and not continue to play small. So, Tia, I thank you for coming and joining me. I wanted to share, I wanted to get the word out. So, share, share, share. If you see
Yes.
this video, share, share, share. And then we want to see you out this Saturday or this Friday. So, we want you to come
Friday,
equipped.
7 p.m.
Yes. And listen, you don't have to be perfect to come out. You know, I heard my pastor say the other day, stop trying to fix your car up and then take it to the mechanic. You stop doing that. You just need to come. And this is a part of fixing your car. And we will see you there.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.